Good evening, everybody. Here we are finally for UFC 322. Glad to be back. A little bit later this week on my recording. Sorry about that. I didn't even realize that there was 14 fights until I was doing all my notes, and I had a jam pack room on my whiteboard for them. But we have a 14 card fight or 14 fight card this week for UFC 322 from Madison Square Garden. Starts, I believe, at 4 p.m. or maybe at 6 p.m. on Saturday. So it's going to be a late night if you're on the East Coast. Not so late if you're on the West Coast. Be actually perfect probably if you're on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast, so here we are. But well, let's jump right into it since we've got 14 fights to cover today. We're going to jump right into the first fight of the night is Borshev versus Camilo. I mean, Borshev's a big dog. Well, not a big dog, but he's like a minus or a plus 135 range or something like that. And to be honest, I think he's live to get the win here. If this fight stays standing, he's definitely going to win. I see him getting a knockout if he keeps it standing. The question is, will he keep it standing? His takedown defense is pretty trash, pretty horrible. But the question mark is, will Camilo even wrestle? I don't have the confidence in 100% saying yes, he's going to, or he's going to at least be looking to. I mean, I'm thinking he will. I'm thinking he's smart if he is. But I'll tell you this. If round one ends and he doesn't wrestle at all and it's still going, I would look at a live bet on Borshev. But if he does wrestle, he should be able to take him down and, beat him up pretty good that way. Maybe even get a submission. But I'm going to lean Borshev because of the value on him, but it's definitely a stay away for me because there's just too many unknowns in this fight. Next, we've got Shevchenko versus Makhachev. I 100% believe this is just another setup fight for Shevchenko. He ran into a slight little issue in his first fight. He didn't have a full camp with his first fight, and I think it kind of showed a little bit. He ended up getting the win, but I think they're basically giving him another fight on somebody that likes to get hit, somebody that likes to get knocked out. Mechanical, I believe he's been knocked out 3 straight times now. Now, Shevchenko is live to get a submission, but I'm going to take him by knockout. It's a minus 210 as a parlay piece. I'm also going to take fight to end by KO as a minus 275 as a parlay piece. I like him to get the win. I would like to think that it's early, so you could even do like a same game parlay under 1.5 rounds with him on the money line. It's still probably going to be like a minus 200 though. So there's no value in it. So I'm just going to use KO prop as a parlay piece on this fight here. But I do like him to get the win. If you do play DFS, he actually could get you some points. But if you do play DFS, I wouldn't put him in every lineup because if it gets out of the first round, he's not going to pay off his price tag. All right, that's enough DFS talk for tonight. Next, we've got Hill versus Klein. I'm a big Hill supporter, huge. She's been a staple in the UFC for a long time now. But now that she's 40, she's finally starting to look her age, in my opinion. I think her last fight, I could definitely see her slowing down a little bit. She's still a dog. I mean, she's she's still a good underdog versus certain fighters. I just don't think this is the matchup to take her in. I actually considered it, looked at it, but the more I look at it, Klein's going to be faster. She's going to be stronger. She's going to be the better striker. She's going to be the better wrestler. I just don't see where Hill is able to beat her at. So I'm going with Klein. I don't usually use too many female fights as a single unless they're like top-notch ones, especially younger ones. But I'm taking Klein minus 5.5 on the point system at a minus 110 on DraftKings. I think that's a good look. I don't mind putting a sprinkle on second or third round finish either. I think it's plus 700 or 800 on second round and somewhere around plus 1,000 on third round. That I don't mind at all. So there's my my little Klein minus 5.5 play on DraftKings minus 110. I'll also pull all these up at the end like I normally do. And then we will move on to the next fight, which is Sabatini versus Mariscal. I just checked the odds. I mean, the odds have almost flipped on this fight. Mariscal was like a plus 125. He's now like a minus 102. So he's still considered slight underdog. But and that's who I'm going to lean towards. I don't have a bet on this fight, but I think he's actually going to be the better wrestler and the better striker. Now, Sabatini will be the better jiu-jitsu fighter, but I think as a minute winner, I think it's Mariscal. So I think as long as he stays safe and doesn't get submitted, I think he's going to be the minute winner and end up with a hard-fought 3-round decision here. So I would lean Mariscal. I don't have a wager on that one, but that's what I would go with. And this next one, I think this is one-way traffic. We got Dawkins versus Meerschaert. Meerschaert's going to have to get this to the mat somehow. But the thing is, he's really not a wrestler. He's good at jiu-jitsu. I mean, he's good at submissions, but is he really good at getting takedowns? Not really. I was actually looking for takedown props. And if they had him set at 1.5, I was going to take the under, but I can't find anywhere. They're offering the significant strikes on DraftKings right now, but they took all the takedown props down for some reason. They've been doing that on Fridays for some reason, and then they'll put them back up on Saturday. I don't know why. But I like Dawkins here, and I think he's going to be way better on the feet and even potentially better on the mat because he likes to wrestle too. And so I like Dawkins here. I actually think he finds a knockout, but I'm going to use him as a parlay piece. Shit. Next, this is our short replacement fight. We got Malcolm Wellmaker versus Ethan Ewing. Ewing is making his UFC debut. I can't remember what organization he's coming from. If it's Karate Con, I don't remember which one it is. It's not LFA. It might be like Karate Combat or something. I don't know. I don't remember actually. It's not Karate Combat though. Now that I think about it, now I do know that I believe he's 8-2. He has 8 wins in a row. I believe his last 8 wins are all by knockout, and I think, if my memory is correct, I think 7 of those 8 are first-round knockouts. And Wellmaker's a striker also. I like this fight to end by knockout also. So one of my parlays is going to be Suskarev fight end by KO, Wellmaker fight end by KO. And I'll pull that up at the end. And I don't mind as a last-minute single I don't mind Wellmaker by KO on FanDuel at a minus 155 either. I would get that now if I was you because I think that's going to go up. But I think as a short replacement, a lot of times you see those fighters, those fights not last very long, you know. So now the next one we got Blanchfield versus Cortez. This is kind of a rematch. I mean, they both fought when they were young, when Blanchfield was like 19 years old, and Blanchfield lost I believe it was a split decision, and a lot of people say that she probably should have gotten the win, but that's the way MMA goes sometimes. With this fight here, Cortez will probably have a slight advantage on the feet. She's probably a little bit better of a striker, and they both like to wrestle and grapple, but that's where Blanchfield's going to shine. She's so much better on the mat. And she brings way more submission threats than Cortez does on the mat also. So I like this fight to go to the mat. I like Blanchfield a lot in this fight on the money line. I haven't used her yet in a parlay piece, but I do like her on the money line. I don't really like to pick how she's going to win because I think she could get a submission or win by decision. If you want to do the combo and use her as a parlay piece to bring her odds down a little bit, I don't mind that at all. But I like Blanchfield a lot in this fight. I think she gets the win here and puts her name in the hat for possible contender. Next, we've got Kopylov versus Rodriguez. If I could trust Rodriguez here to fight a smart fight, then I think he's the better fighter. I think he's the way better grappler. Kopylov is very dangerous on the feet. Kopylov might probably be the better striker, but Rodriguez is a dog also, and I like Rodriguez to take this fight to the mat and end up grappling with Kopylov and getting the win. Now, if he doesn't fight smart, then Kopylov is live to get the win here. Kopylov could get the win on the feet, either by knockout or even by decision. So this fight here, I'm going to stay away from it. I'm not going to have any play on it, not even on an over and under or nothing, because I really have no idea what Rodriguez is going to do here. So I do lean Rodriguez, but it's a stay away for me. Next, we got Nickel versus Vieira. I mean, these are basically, I'm not going to say they're the same fighter, but they're both kind of mediocre on the feet. They're not very good strikers, and they're both like to grapple. But Nickel, I believe, is the more of a high level wrestler / grappler than Vieira is. So I look for this could be our boring fight of the night, even more boring than some of the female fights we have. And there's a very good chance that Nickel just grapple fucks him for 3 rounds and gets a boring ass decision. I do like Nickel to get the win here. I don't mind the over either. The over 2.5 is like a minus 150. I don't mind that either. I believe I used that on a parlay that I had on one site. But I do like him to get the win. And then we got Dariush versus Saint Denis. Now, this originally was not going to be a best bet for me or a lock or whatever you want to call it. But after Dariush missed weight, granted, it's only by 2 pounds, I ended up coming around and using it because in 2025, fighters who have missed weight are 4-13. So I'm just going to lay the odds And I was already leaning Saint Denis to get the win anyways. And I'm going to go with it as a best bet. I kind of got a little creative to bring the number down a little bit because Saint Denis is like a minus 180. So if you take over a half a round and Saint Denis on the money line on a build your own same game parlay on DraftKings, it brings it down to a minus 120. If you want to take him minus 3.5 on DraftKings at a minus 135, I don't mind that either. Or even if you don't mind laying the minus 180, then just do that. So both of these fighters are going to have some grappling in them. I think Saint Denis might be a little bit better on the mat, but that's kind of debatable also. Dariush actually has some pretty good takedown defense too, and some pretty good grappling defense altogether. So, but on the feet, I see it being a big advantage to Saint Denis. I think he's going to be the better striker. I think he's going to be the more powerful striker, the busier striker. I would actually like to see him keep this fight standing. And if he does, I think he finds a knockout. I really do. I don't even mind putting a little bit on a knockout at a plus 150. I don't mind that at all. So I'm going to go with Saint Denis here as a best bet. And then next we got Edwards versus Prates. This is another question mark for me because if Edwards comes in with the mindset of I'm going to grapple for 3 rounds, and because I know that's my pathway to victory versus Prates, then Edwards is live to get the win here. But if he wants to match him on the feet, then he's going to probably get knocked out. Prates is a very smart, calculated, technical striker. He looks for his spots. He's not going to throw just to throw. He throws with purpose when he does. I mean, he's very smart on the feet, very smart. His question mark is his takedown defense isn't very good. I'm really hoping that he's been working on it. I'm going to lean Prates, but it's a no bet for me, just in case if Leon Edwards is able to get takedowns and grind out a victory here. But I'm gonna say that Prates keeps this fight standing for the most part, and either finds a knockout or gets the decision win. I'm gonna lean KO. I think it's a changing of the guard here. I think Edwards' run of being a top UFC fighter is over. I don't think he's ever gonna get back to championship level again. So I'm gonna go with Prates, but it's just a lean. And then next we got, this is one of my favorite fights where the line's fairly close. We got Brady versus Morales. Very seldom do we ever get an 18-1 fighter versus an 18-0 fighter. And that's what we got here. We've got Morales, who is definitely the better striker. He's going to be quicker. He's going to be faster. It's not that Brady can't strike, though. Brady can still strike. Brady can still hang with him some. But if it stays on the feet, then Morales will either get a decision win or a knockout. But what I see happening is I think Sean Brady is, at least in my opinion, one of our best grapplers where he's not an EV or an OV. He's our best, one of our best grapplers that we have, and he's gonna be submission or position over submission, but he's still gonna be looking for submissions. he just smothers you when he gets you down. And I see him getting him down, and it may only take one takedown to find a, a submission here. So I'm going to go with Brady by sub/decision -110. I like this play a lot. He's only a -130 on the money line, so if you want to play that, I don't mind that either. But I like Brady a lot here. I think he gets the win, and I think he keeps on rolling. I mean, he had a little setback in his last fight, but, you know, when he got knocked out by Bilal. But, I mean, the level of competition here is night and day. I think Morales has a couple more fights in him before he can beat someone like a Brady. Now, I could be 100% wrong, and I mean, I've been wrong many a times, but that's going to be my play is Brady by sub/decision -110. And then we go on to my favorite fight of the night. Anyone that's ever watched anything from me before, probably. This is by far my favorite fighter, Valentino Shevchenko. We got Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili. And I'm very biased to Shevchenko. So, I mean, I'm not going to say don't listen to what I say on this fight here, but I will 100% admit that I'm biased here. Number one, I've got a ticket for her to be champ on December 31st. I 100% got that ticket with the notion of thinking that there was a good possibility she would not fight again this year, because I did it right after her last fight versus Manon Fiorot. She was like a -135 to be the champ at the end of the year. And so I took it and I parlayed it with Merab being the champ and Tom Aspinall being the champ. And doesn't Merab decide to fight two more times? So the value on my ticket is way gone. It's like, it's not even like, looking back, it wouldn't even be worth doing it now because it's only a +175 ticket. But I've got like 3 or 4 units on it. So I'm kind of invested into it. So I won't be really making any other Shevchenko money lines or anything like that this weekend because of that ticket. I will 100% admit that there's a very, very good chance I end up, putting a little bit on the other side just to protect my ass a little bit, because I've got a couple free bonus wagers I can use. But the one play I'm going to make, and I know this play is kind of risky a little bit too, because we could see a split decision. I'm going to put a little bit on fight to end by unanimous decision on DraftKings. That means basically it doesn't matter who wins the fight. It just needs to go to decision, and it needs to be unanimous, -115. I think it's a pretty good number, especially the overs -250. I like the over a lot. I wish I hammered it when it first came out at like a -180, but I missed that. Like the following day, it ballooned up to like a -270 for over 4.5 rounds. So I do like the over a lot. I've been kind of like trying to look for takedown props on both to combine both fighters to get one takedown and see what it gives me, but I haven't been able to find it yet to where I can parlay it. The only site you can parlay that on is DraftKings, and they don't have those out yet on the same game parlay option. I don't mind using Weili's 1+ takedown at a -200 as a parlay piece. I don't mind that at all. But I like the over a lot. If you're looking for a parlay piece out of this fight, I like the over 4.5 a lot. And I will be showing a parlay at the end that I played that I like a lot. where I played over 4.5, and then I played the main event, this fight here, to reach the third round, and that's like even money. Okay. Now on to, oh wait, let's back up to the last fight for a second. Sorry, because I really didn't break the fight down at all. So what I think here is, I think Shevchenko is still the better technical striker. I think she's got the better leg kicks. I think Weili is the faster, quicker striker. I think they're both can wrestle. I think their wrestling is kind of even. I might give a slight advantage to Shevchenko just because I haven't seen Weili at this weight class yet. Now, Weili's jiu-jitsu is probably better than Shevchenko's, though. So she's going to be a little more dangerous on the mat, I think. But I still don't think she's going to get a submission. And it's a true 50-50 fight. Whoever makes a mistake in the 4th or 5th round is probably who's going to lose this fight. That's just the way it is. Or whoever gets a key takedown or maybe a key knockdown or something like that. So, okay. Now let's go on to the main event. We've got Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. And I'm seeing split across the board on this fight here. I'm going to be on Makhachev. I do think that JDM is probably our best pure boxer in the UFC, but thank God this is an MMA fight. I do think Makhachev does get this to the mat. I think he could grapple him for 5 rounds or possibly find a submission, but I think JDM is good enough on the mat to where he's even going to find his way back up. He's going to find his way back up and make Makhachev do it again. And I don't think Makhachev is dead on the feet either. It's not like he can't operate on the feet at all. So I like a couple of things in this fight. I like Makhachev over 1.5 rounds and on the money line minus 120. Now, mind you, I believe that's now a minus 140. And then I've also like the over 3.5 rounds. I believe on FanDuel it's a minus 126 right now. I like that a lot too. So those are my plays, and I'm going to pull up my singles and my parlays now. Try to move it along to try and get this done in 30 minutes. We got a couple minutes left, so all right, I'm going to pull that one out. I'm going to do my singles first, which I've already kind of talked about, but my singles here. Sean Brady by submission/decision minus 110. Shevchenko versus Weili end in unanimous decision minus 115. We've got Klein minus 5.5 minus 110. And mind you, I don't mind sprinkles on 2nd or 3rd round finish. That's big plus money. St. Denis over 1/2 round and on the money line minus 120. And then we got Makhachev over 1.5 rounds on the money line minus 120. That's now a minus 140. Then we've got our parlays. I'm going to blow this up just a little bit. So we got our parlays here. We got Shevchenko, Weili fight to go the distance. JDM versus Makhachev, fight to start round 3 plus 102. I like that one a lot. That's probably my favorite parlay. I mean, if you want to get greedy and add something to it, feel free. You can make it even more. So then on FanDuel, they got a 30% boost, and I use Sakharov versus Monaco fight to end by KO. I did not take Sakharov to win by KO. I just took fight to end by KO. If you take him to win by KO, you get even slightly better odds. Then I took Dawkins on the money line, and then I took Shevchenko versus Weili over 4.5 rounds. That's a plus 131. It's boosted to a plus 171. Then I've got Wellmaker by KO, Sasakura by KO plus 142. And then I threw together a significant strength parlay because I like doing these. I mean, they're fun. They were cashing a lot for a long time there, and then I kind of hit a wall for the last few cards. I got Saint Denis most significant strikes. That's like a minus 200 by itself. Then I've got Shevchenko and Weili 40 plus significant strikes plus 107. Now, one little special single on FanDuel that I don't mind at all is they have a special underneath their strike specials, and it is Shevchenko and Weili to both have 75 plus significant strikes. It's a plus 195. That I'm probably going to throw, a few bucks on because I think that's very likely to come through. Their significant strikes are set at like 68 and 69 or something like that. And I think that's very likely to come through. So I like that quite a bit, especially at bigger plus money. But that's my UFC 322 card. I hope if you watching this, please give me a like and subscribe if you're not subscribed. And I hope everybody catches some tickets this weekend and have a great weekend.